Child. Let's have a moment of silence. The Warriors, they just seem to want to go out sad right now this year. I'm like, we don't have to go out like this. Like, what happened to the Warriors that was playing fun basketball in the beginning of the season, 6-2? What happened to them? This is bad right now. But this too shall pass. That's what I always like to try to tell myself and friends whenever life is giving you a two-piece. Because we got mollywopped in the last 2 games, which is not fun, fair, or a good sight to see. I understand that we will not win all games. However, this is embarrassing. This is truly embarrassing. Now, here's my problem, though, is that I know there's going to be some trades, and I know that we used to be able to attract free agents, a high basketball IQ caliber players to the Golden State Warriors, i.e. Andre Iguodala, Boogie Cousins, Kevin Durant, David West, and so forth and on, right? But here's my problem that I think we have to take into consideration. Steve Kerr has, I think ultimately, from my point of view, he has ultimately kind of diminished the Golden State Warriors being a destination for players, high caliber players, right? And the reason why I say that is because if you think about it, even if they not high, like superstar or whatever, I think some will still want to come because they'll want to play with Steph. However, here's where I fault Steve Kerr for this. And, a lot of people may not think about this or consider this, is that I think JaVale McGee, Pat Bev said some similar things. Like, they were going to come to the Warriors. They had the opportunity to come to the Warriors, but decided not to. And, JaVale went to one of our he went to the Kings. I don't want to call them a rivalry because they're not a rivalry, in my opinion. Maybe the history, I don't know. But they both said that they did not come or sign with the Warriors because they wasn't sure if they would get playing time. That is a big thing and one of Steve Kerr's Achilles heel, right? He does not play players that much, especially if you're not a guard, because he's famous for putting a 4-guard lineup on the floor, which does not work in this NBA era. And I think I said in one of my videos, not sure if it's one that I posted yet or just one in the archives that need to be posted, is that coaches have to evolve. You have to be able to adjust game by game. Some games you can get away with a small ball lineup. A lot of these games you cannot get away with that. You have to know the right players to play. You got to have your right rotations. You cannot, and I think I said this again, I don't know if it's a video that I posted yet, but we have to not be in game 40, and I'm pretty sure we're not in game 40, but I'm over exaggerating to make a point that we cannot be in game 40 and trying to figure out a lineup. That is too long of that's like, are you able to do your job? To me, that don't seem like you're able to do your job if you're in game 40 trying to figure out a consistent lineup. Like, no. Figure that out beforehand. Figure it out in game 10 and be done with trying to figure out a lineup. Do experiment a lineup if one of your players are hurt, out, away from the team for whatever reason or whatever the case may be. But you got to figure out your lineups earlier in the season. We cannot be in this far in the season, almost mid-season, and we're still trying to figure this out. What are you getting paid to do? And you cannot hide people on the bench and don't want to play players and expect players to want to come play for the organization to help us to continue to win or to win championships. That's not ideal. We have to do better. We are in a really bad place, and a lot of this blame will go on Steve Kerr because, again, he is one of the reasons why players are not going to sign with us, especially big players like centers and stuff like that, because he barely like playing them. Only reason why Trace is getting a lot of playing time is probably because somebody's in his ear, and or because we were losing. And when he did get on the floor in the beginning, he did impact the game really well. So yeah, we can't keep doing this. And Steve Kerr is just, I don't know. I'm not that fond of you this season, and last season I was like, whatever. But this season is definitely is challenging to root for you. I did like when Draymond mentioned that you came to his house and talked and y'all cried. I did like that because that was one of the reasons why I liked you as a coach, listening to the players, especially Draymond. I believe Draymond was in China, or I think he was in China or something like that. And he had talked about one time you wrote him a letter when y'all were having y'all issues, and you felt like you couldn't get through to him verbally, so you decided to talk to Tom Izzo, and then you wrote him a letter and so forth and on. So I was like, okay, I like that, because you don't really get to hear a lot of the things that coaches do to get their players' attention and get their voice across, going in their ear and staying in their ear, not going in one ear and out the other. So I really like that. I don't dislike him as a person, but his coaching this season is horrible. And I just really hope that we could do something different all around. All right. Talk to y'all later.